I cannot believe it's already time to talk about my favourite films of 2017. This year has flown by. I was considering waiting until the middle of January again to do this list because I wanted to see Coco more than anything before doing this list, but I thought since everyone's doing them now, I might as well do it now because I want people to actually watch this video. And the usual disclaimer is this is my list, not yours, so if you want validation for your list, get out. If you're looking for just all the Oscar films and if you're looking for all the indie films, get out because I haven't got most of those films yet. Basically, if you understand subjectivity, opinions, and that everyone likes and dislikes different films, you can stay. So with all that being said, let's get into my top 10 favourite films of 2017, starting off of course with number 10. Kicking off, we have Thor Ragnarok. It was a toss-up between Wonder Woman and Thor for the top 10 list, but in the end, I'm going with Thor. This is what the Thor films needed, because the first two films were fine, but they weren't really memorably entertaining. Thor Ragnarok was. It was funny, it was colourful, it was action-packed. Taika Waititi was the man to revitalise the Thor franchise. It was heavy on humour, and most of the humour did land, but it did a good job at balancing the humour and mistakes of the story, because at the end of the film, no spoilers in case you haven't seen it, but some stuff goes down that has ramifications, not just for Thor, but for the MCU as a whole, so it does a good job balancing those things out. But it is definitely one of the more entertaining films of the MCU so far. If you would have told me this time last year that I would have a horror film in my top 10 of 2017, I would have laughed in your face. But the joke's on me because it makes the list. Preying on the fears of the main characters, it used psychological horror to make it really creepy and kind of scary at times, but it wasn't just a great horror film, it was a great 80s coming of age film, and I love me some 80s coming of age films. I really like the characters in this film, the Losers Club, the kids, they were really great. I cared about them the more the film went on, they felt like really good friends. It felt like it was a film that was actually made in the 1980s but released today, and it was a great cinema experience, and I might actually buy it on Blu-ray, something I never do with horror films. Number 8 is Dunkirk. Now this was originally a lot higher on the list, but I rewatched it on Blu-ray and something about it was lost on the rewatch, but I still can't deny the great storytelling on display here. It's visual storytelling that uses the visuals and the suspense of the situation to tell the story. It plops you on that beach with those soldiers, it puts you in the cockpit with Tom Hardy, and it puts you on that boat with Mark Rylance and the kids. Plus the three timelines didn't feel as choppy the second time round, like you'd be in the plane, then you see Mark Rylance's boat, then later on you'd be on the boat, then you see the plane, you see how they interconnect. Yeah, it pretty much confirms that Christopher Nolan can do no wrong at this point. Number 7 is SpiderMan Homecoming. I love this film. I'm in the minority because I think it's the best Spider-Man film because Peter Parker actually feels like a high schooler in this film unlike any other ones. And that's what SpiderMan Homecoming is. It's a high school movie about Peter Parker dealing with high school teenager problems, girls, homework, but also trying to save the city at the same time. And in that it was suitably small scaled, and Michael Keaton is one of the best villains of the MCU so far. Really enjoyed SpiderMan Homecoming. It's one of my favourite films of the past summer. It gets number 7. I'm ready for it, but I don't care. I love Star Wars The Last Jedi. Kinda surprising how the new Star Wars main saga film wasn't instantly number 1, but I still really enjoyed it, hence why it's at number 6. I love the additions to the Force, the expanded mythology, the characters are all still great, all the actors are still great as their characters. Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker was awesome, and the directions the story goes in was unexpected. I can't wait to see how it resolves in episode 9 because I have no idea where it's going to go next, and that's what this film did. A second chapter of a trilogy should get you surprised and should have all these different directions and make you so excited for the next chapter, and episode 8, The Last Jedi, did exactly that for me. It just turns out there were 5 of the films that I enjoyed more than The Last Jedi this year. I absolutely love it when you have a film that's not on your radar until like a couple of days before it comes out, and then you watch the film and it blows you away. That was me with Blade Runner 2049. Is the film long? Yes, undoubtedly. 2 hours and 40 minutes is a long film by any means. Is it going to hurt on the rewatch? Possibly, I don't know, it hasn't come out on Blu-ray yet, but when I watched this film in the cinema, I was enthralled from beginning to end, and it's not very often that a 2 hour and 40 minute film has me that engaged throughout the entire runtime. The story was really interesting, it was very well acted, and visually speaking, it's one of the best looking films, probably the best looking film of the entire year. If Roger Deakins does not get nominated for cinematography, there's a problem over there at the Oscars. I love Blade Runner 2049 even more than the original. I'm probably in the minority on that one as well, but Denis Villeneuve continues to impress me, and he has another film on my top 10 list 2 years in a row. This film actually moved up a few spaces after rewatching it, and that's Baby Driver. When I watched Baby Driver in the cinema, I really enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. But then I rewatched it and I was like, what? This film's awesome. What was me from June talking about? Baby Driver is probably, most definitely, the best edited film I've seen in 2017. The way the music was edited with the action scenes and the gunshots was really unique and really awesome. The way the music is like kind of like a character in the film. It correlates with what's going on both on screen but with characters as well. So it was a unique film in the storytelling department, and it was just a really fun and entertaining film to watch in general. Just like with Dunkirk proving Nolan can do no wrong, Baby Driver proves that Edgar Wright can do no wrong. Another film that was not on my radar until a couple of days before it came out. I watched it, I loved it. The Disaster Artist. This film did what I didn't think it was going to do, and that is humanize Tommy Wiseau. You actually kind of feel bad for hating the room after seeing this film, because you see how much passion and love Tommy Wiseau poured into the room. Like I said in my video, it's a really fascinating film just being on the set of the room and seeing how kind of a douchebag Tommy Wiseau was to the cast and crew, not giving them water or not turning on the air conditioning. And by the end of it, it's really touching and really emotional, something that I didn't expect after watching The Room. I didn't think that a film about the making of the worst film ever made would get me emotional about the worst film ever made being made. One of the unexpected surprises of the year. Love The Disaster Artist. Number 2 is another film that got better upon each rewatch, and that is Logan. It's not very often that a comic book film emotionally affects me, but Logan did, because you really care about Wolverine as a person. It brings him down to this gritty world that feels real, it's brutal, it's really bloody and violently awesome. Hugh Jackman was amazing, Patrick Stewart was amazing, Daphne Keane, probably the best young child performance of the entire year. It had an independent western feel to it, it didn't even feel like a big budget comic book film. And don't lie, by the end you're tearing up when she turns a thing to make an X. Wow, like I said, no comic book film usually emotionally affects me. That's why Logan is the best superhero film of the year in my opinion, and my second favourite film of the year overall. So here we are guys, my number 1 film of 2017. I saw it back in July, and no film replicated the experience that I got with War for the Planet of the Apes. Was the title a bit misleading? Yeah, a little bit, and I was expecting full-on war between humans and the apes, but what I got instead was a character piece about Caesar, and how it treated him like a biblical figure. That's what this film was. It was a biblical epic about Caesar leading his civilization to freedom. And it's some really powerful stuff. When he's being tortured by Woody Harrelson later on, and he's being forced to watch his apes build the wall and being treated like slaves, it just hits you. There's so many parts of this film that just hit me. I wasn't expecting to be as emotionally affected as I was by a film called War for the Planet of the Apes. And the fact that a third film in a sci-fi blockbuster trilogy was so emotionally impacting, it makes it the best blockbuster of the year for me, one of the best blockbusters in years, and my favourite film of 2017. No film gave me as much of an emotional experience that this film did. Andy Serkis was mesmerising. He probably won't get nominated, but it doesn't matter. He doesn't need a statue. He was amazing in this film. War for the Planet of the Apes, my number 1 film of 2017. So there you have it guys, those are my top 10 favourite films of 2017. It was a really good year for films this year, some great blockbusters, some great other films. Looking forward to 2018, and I will be doing a most anticipated 2018 video, so look out for that very soon. And thank you very much guys for a great 2017. I've really enjoyed talking films with you guys. Looking forward to 2018 and beyond. But in the meantime, let me know in the comments below what are your top 10 or top 20 films of 2017, and if you want to see more of my stuff, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.